everybody.
Got it,
Russ.
yeah.
Hi, everybody. Russell Ryan is 11. Oh, surprised Jeff with that. Hope you're all safe and well. New to channel, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon. We'll keep you going in between this off season, so you still keep your West Ham fix. We've got lots of great guests, including today's guest. You know it is. You can see him already. Founding fathers, one of the founding fathers of the Cockney Rejects, Jeff Turner. How you doing, Jeff? How's things with you, man?
I'm all right, thanks, Russ. Yeah, not bad. Everything's all right while the sun's shining.
Oh, it is.
Stay like we are and we get to November or something, then I'm not so sure I'll be so all right. But when you've got good weather, you get in the garden, you do what you want, it ain't too bad.
It makes a difference, innit? I mean, even throughout the whole lockdown period, the weather weren't too bad, and I think it made things a bit easier. You know, if it's raining and stuff, you can't get out.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it the other way, if this had come about maybe in November or something, lockdown and stuff through December, January and all that, it would have been an absolute nightmare. I mean, if people have had to, get into their garden or go over the park. A lot of people like going to the beach and all that. The main worry is if it gets to November and they keep hitting you about this second wave and all that, and it comes when you go into lockdown then. So I'd just like to take one day at a time, one step at a time. It's 35 Celsius out there today, so happy days.
I know.
Gloom and gloom up the road.
Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. When the sun's shining, everyone happens. Sun's shining, West Ham are in the Premier League for next season. What we've got to worry about? There's nothing to worry about now, Full disclosure.
Sure about it.
Well, we'll see. I've got complete blind optimism at the moment, as I do every season in the off season. And then after about 3 or 4 games in, they'll bring me back to normal, back to reality. We'll lose 5-0 to West Brom, and we'll probably draw against Burnley, and then I'm back to square one again. And
I have got concerns. I'm concerned. It's the West Ham way, and to me, it's a cycle. And people say you can't be too critical of the ball, but we're all free thinkers. Now, I'm seeing this thing about the season tickets that they've got, that you have to pay for a season ticket, and then you have to go into some kind of lottery if there's a reduced capacity. Yeah. Right? So you get it. That's nuts. I mean, I spoke to people from other club in the Championship supporters, and one of my mates, Millwall mate, and he said to me, he applied for his season ticket. They said, we're not doing anything. No money until we know what's happening. Now, I can see this with West Ham. I can see this happening, and people refusing, saying we're not going to give you money for a season ticket till we know what's happening. And then the owners will come out and say, "Oh, down to the COVID, down to this and that, and we can't get our revenue from match tickets. Everybody's got to go." And you'll see Declan Rice go, then you'll see somebody else go, and you'll see somebody else go. And next season, under these owners, it'll be your annual struggle to survive. While they're taking your money, all they're interested in is keeping you in that division. Yeah. To me, I think is that what it's going to be? So another relegation fight next year. And I just think, we'll say with West Ham, but with the support base we've got, right, a 58,000 capacity stadium, and we get 54,000 West Ham supporters through there. Listen, it's not too much chance to compete in the top half of the table.
No, you're right.
Champions League. That's where we should be. And if
Leicester
and teams like that, Sheffield United, why can't we be there?
No, you're right. And I think when it came to someone like the Pellegrini experiment was an experiment, and it didn't work. We jumped before we walked a little bit, and to be honest, everyone's been saying this for a while. We need to build an infrastructure, and to be honest, I honestly think that David Moyes is the man for it, because he's done it before. At Everton, he built an infrastructure, and he might not be the most glamorous manager out there, but what he's doing, and you look at the signings he's brought in already with Boleyn, Souček, hungry young players who we could get a profit off. And that's how we have to operate at West Ham at the moment, isn't it? We're not going to be, as you said, Champions League and stuff like that at the moment. We need to build that level up. And, Souček...
I've got no problem with dipping into the Championship.
No, totally.
Local players like Bowen and Antonio. I've got no problem with that. I mean, I'm kind of hoping, in a way, sorry, Brentford supporters, but you don't go.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm saying, yeah.
Well, West Ham could look at. I mean, how much did we pay for Haller? I mean, what was he? 40-odd million?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it's a lot of money, isn't it, to pay for someone really untested.
Yeah.
Where there are players around. I mean, Souček costs nowhere near that.
No.
Then you've got the questions of people like Anderson. People say he's a show pony, he's lazy. What do you do? And in this current, people going, oh, we need a clear out. But what in this current situation, what teams are going to say, well, I'll tell you what, we'll buy Antonio for,
Anderson, yeah.
For so many million. He's sitting on a contract with West Ham, probably worth about 130 grand a week. Why does he want to go anywhere? You know?
Exactly. And you're right. I mean, you know, the previous regime, I call them different regimes, the previous management regime, you're not going to, you know, they were buying players for now, it seemed. And you won't get your money back on Anderson. You won't. I think even before everything happened, you won't get your money back on him. But someone like Souček, I'm not saying we sell him tomorrow, but if we did, you double your money on him. And Bowen, you would double your money. And that's, you're right. Dipping into the Championship, getting these young, hungry, mainly British, British players. Or, you know, because, I mean, you know, but not necessarily going to the big leagues and picking these people, because as you said, they're untested. Someone like Souček, Sparta Prague, we got him from, and he has been brilliant. And next season he's going to be, and he's gone under the radar a little bit. Do you know what I mean? No one else has picked up on him. And and Bowen, and as you said, the Brentford boys. There's the two of them. There's Ollie Watkins and Barami. I can't pronounce his surname. That's who I want, because I just think they got. And you're right.
They're the kind of player, and I think I might be right about Moyes. He's got to be given his chance. And he announced his time. I hope he can keep Nolan.
Definitely.
And I've got a lot of time for Nolan. You know what
Me
I mean?
too.
I think he's a good man. Everyone speaks highly of him. And I just hope the main thing is really he's keeping hold of Declan Rice. That is the thing. But if he goes, I mean, I hope he don't go to that lot. If he went to Man United or something, but not that lot. I understand it. You know, that's fair enough. And I know everybody wants to play at the top level. And what anybody says, Man United are one of the biggest teams in the world. Like, regardless. So I would get that. We've had it with Tevez, we've had it with Rio. You know, nobody's better than United. That's fair enough. But not to go to that lot, especially when they rejected him as well. That'd be a killer.
But it's also, you're right. I mean, and you know, there's two thoughts I think on Declan. I have one is, obviously when he's on interviews and stuff like that, he don't look like a player who wants to bugger off. Do you know what I mean? And that's a massive thing. And I think he's got an incredible role model in Mark Noble there, he could go to that lot, or even a United. And if he went to that lot, you know he'd get ruined in the same way they've ruined Barkley. I mean, Mason Mount never gets much of a run out. And they're spending a lot of money on foreign players already. You know, so and so, but I would love him to be different. I would love him to say, you know, if he stayed at West Ham, he'd be a massive fish in a small pond.
You'd build a team around him. That's what you want to be looking to do.
Exactly.
Your new captain, and that's it. Bung in the extra money. If he wants, in this current climate, if he wants 250 grand a week, then give it to him. Like, you know what I mean? If that's what he's going to do, it's an investment that'll be worth it.
Yeah, you know it's going to be worth it.
These lot who come over here, you know what I mean, half the players that they sign, and they bung them these great big money, and then, as you say, there's no sell-on point, there's nothing for it.
No.
So if, I don't know, but I've just got a feeling through what's happening through this season ticket thing, with no fans coming in there, the old pleading poverty will start, and there'll be a clear out. And I mean,
and also, I mean, you know, in terms of how it all got treated during furlough, I mean, you know, unlike our friends in North London, we didn't furlough anyone. We kept all the staff going and stuff like that, and you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, our friends at 3 Point Lane, I think they're doing a similar thing to what we do. And our option 3 is very similar to their option as well. I think we got 30%, they got 20% and stuff like that. But look, we'll see what happens. And
we hope we can move on in a positive light. You know. Get fans back in the stadium. Everybody just wants to get back to normal.
And it's just
Exactly,
and a typical West Ham thing. We start hitting a bit of form and then the season stops. You know what I mean? It's like, where's this come from? You know, like 4-0 against Norwich, and
always the same. Yeah,
it happens every year.
They look good. I thought at Manchester United, they look
comfortable.
And even if they'd lost that game, I wouldn't have, because they went out and had a go.
Yes.
That's what you'll see from your team. You know what I mean? Go out there and have a go. And I thought it was good. It was positive, but you know, it's the West Ham way, isn't it? It's just like the start of the season. Like, could be Sheffield United away first game, we get buried 5-0.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jeff, when you watch the football, are you a crowd noise off or a crowd noise on type person?
I'll be honest with you. I said I wasn't going to watch it, but I watched it with my two boys, and I thought crowd off. That I had to put it on in the end.
Yeah,
it was like watching a training game.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, crowd noise. It's something. Me personally, I don't like I couldn't watch it in silence.
No,
you know, I know
it's weird.
Crowd is crap, but it was bad enough just watching it like it was. I thought you got to add something. So,
I know what you mean.
Fake crowd.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was talking to some bloke actually on a previous video, and he works for Sky, and he met the bloke who came up with the crowd noise thing. And apparently they use Opta, so the Opta stats, and they do some clever. I thought it was a bloke in a box pressing a button, you know, but it's not. Yep. It's like all done through Opta, and so if a team is like got loads of possession and loads of pressing in the last 10 minutes, the crowd noise naturally go higher and higher for the home team. It's amazing when you think of it. I was like,
one thing struck me. You know what I mean? Watching West Ham play behind closed doors and with that crowd noise on, I think it was the most atmosphere there's ever been.
They didn't turn on them, did they? They didn't turn on them.
Silent as anything anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Non-stop chanting, and that's one thing that we ain't had since we've.
I thought it was exactly. I thought it was harsh when we played Norwich away that the artificial crowd turned on Norwich at half time. They booed him off the pitch. I was like, that you're bad when a computer boos you off the pitch, you know what I mean? But
that's great. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was funny. And for you, Jeff, how's obviously a performer, obviously no gigs, nothing. How have you coped with everything at the moment?
Well, it's been frustrating more than anything. I mean, obviously, you coach. I mean, financially, I got through a good year last year, Rejects 40th anniversary and stuff like that. So that's been okay. I mean, there's a lot of people out there really, really bad off. The frustration is not being able, because really the music game's not anything else. It's my business. It's a business.
Yeah.
It's more business, but it's a business. And obviously it's been it. And but I've got a couple. We're lucky in other ways. You get PRS money through. We can merchandise. You can still sell and the stuff like that. But obviously the frustration is not playing. But we're in the process now of setting out a live stream. A live gig, filming a gig like the first two albums back to back. And opened a lot of virtual stream where it's shown one night in London and Europe, the next night in the East Coast and West Coast in America, then the next night I think it goes out to Japan and places like that. It's a pay-per-view. It's not a big charge, but people get to see the band like a live performance basically from a venue. Is the only way that you can get out and play. Because everything's been more or less scrapped this year, Russ. I've still got a date Saturday, December the 12th at the O2 Academy, Islington, which they seem to think is going to be on, and everything's got the tickets are going to go and sell that. But me personally, I'm not so sure. I can't see it this year, and I've got gigs booked for from February on in Europe and stuff like that. The promoters there assure me that, but I don't think anybody can assure anybody of anything next time. So. Just got to suck it all soon, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
My wife's a fantastic cook and she keeps the flag flying. And I eat it.
I know. It's funny, because I mean, you're right. I mean, I know that they're did some stuff recently. They're doing some indoor stuff with, I think it's even like snooker and stuff like that. I was listening to the other day, and I think it was somewhere in Ireland. They're doing a sport event which had 500 fans in, and I don't think no one knows what's going on. That's the thing. It's
they don't. I mean, our kind of kids just know. I mean, they are liable.
I mean, even more so for you. Yeah. If you was going to a nice, as I said, if you're going to a nice classical concert or a theatre, that's okay. But you lot, your mosh pit. What's going on with that?
You can't social distance in the mosh pit. It's simple as that can't be done, especially that's what it's all about energy. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine that playing a gig and. What will you have to do then? What would a band have to wear masks?
God, I don't know.
So I don't. Nobody knows. Okay, see, not only that, if you're playing like venues up and down London, if you're on like the 300 capacity, 400 capacity club scene playing gigs, and then have to have reduced capacity, well, it's going to kill the venues because they need to make money. The bands will have to pay for a vastly reduced fee, and you don't know whether the bands are going to be able to do that. And a lot of the things, I speak to a lot of promoters, a lot of the live music venues where they can't open will be closed. They will not reopen. And that's quite a few clubs up and down the country because they still have to be paying rent and this and that. And
of course,
there's nobody at the door, and they don't know when they're going to be able to open their doors again.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, and I hate it, but I think a lot of this, you know what I mean? People sitting indoors watching whoever it may be, whether it's, you know what I mean, Coldplay or whoever, any band across the world, it's going to be done there where you're sitting in your front room and pay-per-view, and you have to watch them because nothing, the music game seems to be one of these that is never mentioned. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Mentioned opening up this and opening up that. Well, how about gig venues? There's no plan in place, so it is what it is, Russ. You know?
No, you're right. I mean, I've been interviewing some actors and before, and it's the same thing. Yeah. You know, the big West End production guys. And he's like, I don't know when. You know, Tom Aldridge. He plays Ron Weasley at the Harry Potter one, at the big West End one. Oh, right. He was like, I don't know when I'm going back. We don't know nothing, and it's like, and the same as you need that full capacity crowd to get the energy to put on a good show. If you've got like anyone, even more for you lot, you know, they got to stand 2 meters apart or whatever. That's not going to work.
I mean, you know, in my lifetime of 41 years in this business, I mean, obviously there's been some tank towns where you know what I mean. You played at a venue where you could swing a jumbo jet round and it wouldn't hit anybody, but. Them punters who are in there have just gone absolutely bonkers anyway, you know what I mean? Years ago. But now, you say it's a different thing, social distancing and kids, or no, it's a no-no. You know,
exactly.
They're work that out, you know, at the football. You're just saying that you can have 15,000 people in the stadium. I don't know. I don't know how it works. They probably don't either.
No, I don't think anyone does. I think there's someone in some office somewhere who's a very clever person who's doing something with, you know, because you've got to think for fans, particularly at a game, they're going to be shouting. They've got to wear masks in because obviously they're shouting, they're projecting, you know, spit and stuff. And your lot, it's not just your gigs. It's not just it's the piss and stuff as well. You know. It's fun. So Christ knows. But anyway, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, and what will be. And as you said, we can't do nothing about it. Now, obviously, Jeff. Yeah, and full disclosure, everyone. 20 minutes in, we've had this conversation about 3 months ago. Me and Jeff did, and it all got corrupted. So we're doing it again, but it doesn't matter because time's moved on, and we're all a bit happier, and it's more sunny and stuff. So I'm starting all over again.
Bit of doom and gloom back then, wasn't it?
It was, and everything's a bit better now. So for everyone who's new to it, obviously what we do, Jeff, is obviously we talk about West Ham and talk about why and stuff like that. Now I know the story why, but we'll do it again. Why is West Ham your club? Because obviously the Rejects are so synonymous as being West Ham's band, and obviously you're one of the founding fathers of the brand. But why West Ham, mate? Why put yourself through it?
I was born in Custom House, just over a mile from the ground. My family, obviously, and everywhere around it. You can only be West Ham. My granddad John Geggers. He played in goal at West Ham. I think he made 31 appearances.
Brilliant.
And I think that was around 1912. Like, and he made about 31 appearances. By all accounts, he wasn't a very good goalkeeper. He was useless. And I know he had an altercation with the crowd. This was long before Cantona did it. I think he upped someone in the crowd.
Oh, wow.
Because we was 4-0 down and he walked off the pitch. And they said, "You never play again." So, yeah. And that was it. So it could only be the Hammers. My older brother, Steve, he's in the 60s. I mean, he was born in 53. He used to go, get on the coach up to Newcastle from Lacey's when there was used to get about 60 West Ham support, in them days, go to an away game that far away and Sheffield United and that. So it was always for me. My old man, I think 1971 I first went over there when I was 7, and we drew 2-2 with Chelsea, and we was 2-0 up, and they'd signed Keith Weller from Millwall, and he scored 2 for Chelsea, and it was 2-2. But I went in the West Side, and it was infectious from the moment I went in there. It was so rough and rowdy, and the language and all that. It might put a lot of kids on, but up in Custom House, I said to my old man, I can't wait to get there again. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might read your eye on the South Bank with your great supporters and what was going on. Then you did on the ground. That was at 7. So yeah, infectious. Loved it.
Yeah, and as I said, it's you're right. It's one of those things. It is infectious, and it just gets in your skin, doesn't it? After a while, and you're just like,
and being there more than anything.
It does.
You know what I mean? They can ruin your day or your week like clicking the fingers, like that easy. But yeah, that was mine. Always was stamped. I mean, of course, with the band through the punk thing. I mean, I was young when I started the band. I was 14.
Yeah.
And by 15, we started to get noticed and all that. But a lot of the punk ethos was like the Sex Pistols, like anarchistic and all that. Very clever. They was holding us, and the clash was kind of political. But I see a way of punk rock was being on the terraces. That's where I thought it come from. Not some art school somewhere in wherever it was. I thought it grew naturally from me from being on the terraces.
Yeah, of course. And as I said, you're right. And you guys obviously been representing West Ham all over the world. And it's
exactly. It's been brilliant. I can tell you, Russ, and I like, mate. We played in places like San Salvador, Central America, one of the most dangerous places, like capital cities on earth, Mexico City. Places like that, Buenos Aires, Rosario in Argentina, Sao Paulo, and places, and they all come decked out in West Ham shirts, and that's because what the Rejects, of that around the world, were West Ham. And if you don't play, you play bubbles when you're out in these places, and they go absolutely mental. And the people Brazilians with West Ham tattoos and all that, it's mad. Like, we go West Ham. And honestly, I think you go around the world, right? We've had no success for 40 years.
No.
We are a massive club. Imagine what it would be if we had a big success as well.
Yeah.
Like, we'd be bigger than anybody. And it always thinks to me, there was no foresight. If you go back to 66, which is, I think, it 54 years this week.
Yeah, good maths, yeah.
We could have built a great football dynasty at that time. In 64, we won the FA Cup. In 65, we was the second English British team, I think, to win a European trophy after the Spuds. We won the European Cup Winners' Cup. Then West Ham won the World Cup in 1966. Then 3 years, we could have built on that.
Yeah.
And absolutely, it'd been as big as Liverpool or anybody. We was the club, but there you go back all them years. It was a Doning Fest. We get 30,000 over here every week, and nothing was done about it. So it's Bobby Moore had to go cat in hand to get an extra £5 a week. We nearly lost him to Spuds as well. So it's the West Ham way.
It's the West Ham way. Nothing's changed, does it? Nothing changes, and it never will. And I know what you mean. We still, and you're right. It's like we do, and we get the ump. It gives us West Ham gives us the ump, but then it's something we like to have the ump about. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if it wasn't in our lives, it'd be like it'd be a huge gap in our lives. And it does mean that on a
The great thing is going to a game beforehand, whatever. And I love it because you meet everybody in the pub.
Yeah.
Then you go over to that place, like, which sometimes more 90 times out of 100 it ruins the day. Then you all come back in the pub and you have a good moan for a few hours. Like,
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, it's fantastic. And sometimes you think, well, if you was winning every week, would it really be that much? You know what I mean? I wouldn't become a Chelsea or Man City club. No way, mate.
No, exactly. You're right. And you're right.
They've bought their way to wherever they've got, you know?
Oh, totally. And you're right, exactly. You have that sort of like 99 out of 100, but that one 100, that's what we live for. You know, that one side.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about Champions League and this and that. I'd just have to go to Wembley and win a cup again.
Yeah, I think everyone's the same.
Just in 1980 and then going back in 1981 for the League Cup final a year later. I mean, for a club like West Ham's too, you know, we're a cup team.
Yeah.
I'll be glad if we could punch our way, you know what I mean, our way up the Premier League and be safe, like, you know, threaten the top half, the top 7 or something, win an FA Cup or a League Cup. That'd do me.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Me too.
And still beat West Ham, don't lose your soul. But
yeah, exactly. And then obviously beat Tottenham and then beat Chelsea, and that's it. Yeah, that's our season done. It's so true. And obviously, you guys, you're travelling all the world and representing West Ham, and obviously, we can't not talk about that game at Boleyn, and obviously you guys closing out the stadium, and that must have been, incredible, man.
Bittersweet, right? I mean, it was fantastic. Everything. You call it a career, but to be asked to do that and go there the night before and the rehearsals, because I don't think you really understand the logistics of a band playing. And they first got in contact with us, you know what I mean? I said, it ain't like you just set up. I said, there's got to be sound checks the night before. You've got to have, you need the infrastructure in place to do it. But it was fantastic. And going to the ground and the night before, I think it was there till about 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, as it turned out, Man United, the game being switched to the Tuesday night was a godsend, really, because it would have originally been, the last game would have been against Swansea on the Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, we got pumped, didn't we?
4-0, yeah.
It just didn't seem like, but being on that night against Man United,
under the lights,
and then obviously that they had the afterwards, Ben Shepherd, he was doing a presentation for Sky when they had the London taxis and all that. Well, when they smashed up Man United's coach, I mean, we was waiting in the ground, and the word was coming round that they might not be able to have the presentation.
I know.
The Air Council had a time limit on it.
Yeah.
So then it started chucking down rain and all that, and but it was great. The nerves were pumping, and I did feel sorry for the players that had to go through all that the rain lashing down. Then had to stand on the podium, like it was soaked to the bone, and had to turn around and watch us.
What's that smoking?
Probably thinking, what's this noise? I just want to get in the changing room. But for us, it was just a moment of moments, and then we was the last to walk off the pitch.
You were.
We walked off there, and we got a great reception. I remember I walked back to the Lord Stanley afterwards and got on the Turks till about 3 in the morning. Afterwards, and it was a great, fantastic moment of my life, but also one of the saddest leaving that stadium.
Yeah, of course it was. Bittersweet.
I really did.
Yeah, you're right. It was bittersweet, but it was. I mean, for you guys, it's like, I mean, that's you can't get any bigger.
Don't get that much better than that.
Nah, not for a West Ham fan.
Said, was you obviously the money? You want to headline Glastonbury, or you want to play the Hammers out at their last game? Well, we'll play the Hammers every time.
Of course it would.
That's it. You coach. It always starts at home. Like home's where the art is. Exactly,
it's so true. I remember that was just a complete. That last sort of day was a complete cluster, wasn't it? I mean, it's like we had to move the fireworks to the beginning, so it started with fireworks. It's like
how it got through. It could only have been that way because it's West Ham.
Exactly.
Great, you know what I mean? They didn't know what they was doing with the taxis.
No, Billy didn't turn up. Billy turned around and went home just because Bonzo couldn't get in the because he didn't want to see his family. So we had an empty taxi. It's just like brilliant. It's the West Ham way. It's the West Ham way.
Way, yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Never forget it, never.
If it went smoothly and everything was on time, it would look too overproduced, and it wouldn't like West Ham spit and sawdust. We'll just stick it together, a bit of gaffer, that would do. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, it made it compulsive viewing because really
Yes.
bad.
And the fact that it absolutely pissed down was even better because it's just like, you know, these the poor kids, the poor players, you know, they're just be.
And I thought, oh, they would have pulled the plug on us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you recruited and all that. And I thought, whatever happened, and the crew were filming it. I couldn't believe we had this little podium, and Sky crew were filming. And someone come up and was saying, they went, "You can't get on the grass when you're performing." And I thought, on the grass, you just had 22 geezers stampeding over it.
You're never going back, yeah.
Bollocks to you, I was straight on there. Get on the pitch. I'm performing here, mate.
I'm not going to wash my shoes ever again.
Yeah. Had like 20 odd geezers stampeding across it. You're never going to play here again. Like,
Oh, brilliant.
That was probably their aim. They wanted to keep the turf in pristine condition so they could sell the square inch to supporters for £100 a pop.
Yeah. Well, anything while we can get while we can. Right. Anyway. So let's do this Hammers 11. So so we got to pick you 11 players, Jeff. The only rule is that you have to be alive to have seen them play. Now, obviously, you've got a nice spread of players.
Yeah.
You've got a nice spread of players. So we're going to go and we'll just go through them one at a time. Let's start with goalkeeper, Jeff. Who would be in goal for the Turner 11?
Well, what I said just before, so I'm not actually, maybe the most skillful player or this and that. I think he's someone who had a bit of a length at time, West Ham.
Nice.
And, for me, and who I see play like fairly regular.
Yeah.
So I'll do it that way,
Yeah, perfect, man.
We've had some superstar players, but they wasn't around long enough for me, like the qualified. Yeah. So I'll go with Phil Parks in goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Parksy.
Great
good guy.
Big world record signing in March 1979.
Yes.
West Ham in second division broke the world record signing.
I know. I was watching a Callingtown Lens everybody's second team on Amazon Prime. It's on there, so everyone can watch it again. And like hearing that whole story again, you forget that we're in the second division. It's like Brentford going to buy the guy from Chelsea, Kepa. It's
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. But
absolutely mental. But it's a great and that's
legend.
Yeah, absolute legend.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I interviewed. We've done well.
You think like Anna McKnight and a few others, but we've had a few. I mean, we've had Ludo in there before. I thought Rob Green was a terrific keeper for us as well. But for me, it'd have to be Phil Parks.
Yeah. I had we interviewed Marie the other day, and she was great fun. Phil Parks is 70 this year.
Madness, isn't it?
I know, innit? When I tell everyone, they go, "Oh my god, I feel so old now." But Phil Parks is 70.
Yeah, age is not a good thing.
Nah, but what a great, and he's apparently Marie said he's growing the mullet back for his 70th. So it's all coming back up. Yeah, lucky man. I've got to get mine done. I wish we could, Phil. Yeah, and the moustache. It's all coming back for the 70th. So I'm looking forward to seeing Marie's pictures. Right, big Phil's in goal. Let's go left back. Who we have left back then, Phil? Then Jeff. Yeah.
Passion. Never got an England cap. I don't know why. Fantastic, skillful player, and West Ham through and through. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
great player.
Yeah, just epitomised West Ham, didn't he? Just epitomised.
Yeah. But he was more than just an hard player. He was a skillful player as well.
Definitely.
Great player.
And to be back at the London Stadium with Slav next season, so which would be good at West Brom.
Yeah. Fair enough, him. I'm glad he everybody's got to work and he got a job. I'm pleased for him and Slaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never anything with Slav. I just think it all got too much for him. You know what I mean? The move into the stadium and all that. It was very harsh on him, and he looked like a worn-out man at the end of it.
Yes.
He needed putting out of his misery. So I'm glad he's bounced back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah, good on him.
Right. He's done well.
He has. going to be a dad again in this summer as well. He's got his wife's pregnant again, so yeah. So not only have he got a plan for the Premier League, he's got to then also. Oh God, and we know how. It's the last thing I could think of. You know what I mean? Even doing all that stuff again. Right. Okay. Julian's in. Let's go. Let's go right back. Who should we have right back then, Jeff?
It'd have to be Ray Stewart for me.
Yeah, Tonks.
Ray Stewart. Yeah, I mean he had a good career. He played for West Ham a lot of years. Obviously, I think 90 odd goals from the spot.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, good player. Right, very underrated.
Yeah.
But again, like for me, it was part of the most enjoyable them years. I think from '79 through to '86.
Yeah.
Most memorable West Ham years in a lot of ways. For me, at my age, you know what I mean, playing good football and you know, being up there. So, and he was a big part of that, obviously.
Yeah, no, definitely. Good old Tonks. Yeah, lovely guy. Okay, we'll put Ray in. Centre backs. Who should we have centre backs then, Jeff?
Well, obviously, people would say go for Bobby Moore. But when I first went there, there's no doubt he's West Ham's greatest ever player. I'll say that. But
true. Yeah.
I mean, there in 1971 and then through, I think, 74 when Morrow left. Didn't really get to see the best, you know, in the early 60s to 1970. So, although he's our greatest player, I can't put him in the 11.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
That would be unfair. So, centre-backs, I'd have to go from hero Billy Bonds.
Yeah.
And captain. I mean, when he started, he was a full-back, wasn't he, first of all,
yeah.
Bonds. He moved into midfield and fantastic, you know what I mean? And then Lowell to move him at centre half when he got the 30, 31. Another masterstroke. Billy, captain, great player, skillful, never got an England cap, which is an absolute disgrace. And bowed out, made his last first team appearance when he was 42 years old. I don't make them like him anymore. So he's an absolute legend, and another legend to go alongside him, I'd have to pick Alvin Martin.
Big Alv, yeah.
Yeah, superb. Like another really underrated player. West Ham through and through for a Mickey Mouser, you know what I mean? To come down here and do what he did. He had all the time in the world, Alvin Martin.
Yeah.
Terrific player. I think that ship him and Bonds, like, absolutely fantastic. Like, brilliant.
And obviously, when Billy got his stand named after him, Alvin did the PA for it as well, which I think was nice. And he's that's brilliant.
Yeah. And through and through, good man.
Oh yeah, love him. And you're right, sort of like a adopted Cockney, isn't he, Alvin Martin? He's just still lives around the area, and
he's
that's
one of us.
Yeah, all right, Big Al. Let's go midfield. Let's go left midfield. Who should we have on the left midfield, man?
Left the midfield, I'd have to put Alan Devonshire.
Yeah, Big Dev.
Yeah, I think Devonshire are probably one of the best players I've ever seen.
Really?
But I'll say that even Paul Winch had a top 10, and he put him in the top 10. Alan Devonshire, he said he's one of the best 1-2 players I played with. He said what he'd be worth in today's market would be unbelievable. What was he, $5,000 they bought him from for Southall?
Southall, yeah.
And Parks used to roll the ball out to Devonshire and he'd be off. He'd be gone. Used to play in 1-2s with Brooklyn and all that. Absolutely superb player. I mean, and as I say, who knows? You see some of these players, what they go for nowadays. He'd have to be worth $1 million at least.
Oh,
like fantastic player, yeah, brilliant.
And doing it on bogs of pitches, you know, not even like the bowling greens of London Stadium. The pitches were crap.
Yeah, they're muddy, and all that. People, you know what I mean? He was not tremendous pace or anything. He was just so skillful and good to watch. Every time he was on the ball, he'd make you like rise from your seat, you know? It was one of the absolute brilliant. All
right, Dev's in. Let's go the other side. Let's go right midfield. Then Jeff, who's on the right, man?
Right midfield's very left and right, but I think as a flank player, if he could have been two-footed, which he probably was, I'll go to Trevor Sinclair.
Oh yeah, tricky Trev.
Yeah, Trev. I thought he was yet another one. He broke into the England team under us, and I thought if you look at the late 90s, early 2000s, all that, we massively underachieved.
Oh God, yeah.
The players that we went through, we never even got a Champions League spot. And when you had players like him, and the list is on and on, you know, with Rio and Eric and Jermaine Defoe and Al Berkovic, them players, mate, we should have, you could go on naming them, you know, we should have done a lot better than we did. Like, but I always like watching Trevor Sinclair play.
Me too.
And, for me as a flank player, he would have got the other berth, definitely.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Yeah, I love Tricky Trev. Yeah, I loved him. Okay, let's go into central midfield then, Jeff. Who's going to be in centre midfield then?
Well, I think the anchor man is central midfield because he'd done so much for the club when he was there. I think Hammer of the Year, 3 years running. Would have to be Scotty Parker.
Oh, yeah, Scotty Parker. He could be coming back as well. Hopefully, you know, if Fulham get up, you know, that'd be all right.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a shame that he seemed to be. He was let down. Really, he was managing the team as well, not having fun. He was doing it. He done everything in his power. He was a stand-out player, and he did everything for them. And it was just a shame that he didn't have enough good players around him. You know what I mean?
You're right.
He wants to win things. I'll see why he left when he did, but I was just disappointed. Of course, that he went to that lot. But it is what it is. He's a professional at the end of the day. But no, he would definitely be me holding me terror in midfield would be Scott Parker.
And I don't think, and also I think what people forget about Scott Parker is the influence he had on Mark Noble. And Mark Noble is like my wish to West Ham. And if it wasn't for Scott Parker, I don't think Mark Noble would be half the player. Not just how he plays, but how he conducts himself. He's very similar.
Mark would probably, you know, he'd make you right on that. He'd admit that, you know, he'd say that as well. So Scott Parker was a massive influence. Really, it left the void open really for Mark to carry on in his shoes, and I think Mark's filled them fantastically well over the years, you know. So Scotty Parker for me, definitely in the midfield.
And who's going to be the other one?
No one will have to need guess who would be his midfield partner. It's the one and only God. It'd have to be Trevor Brooking.
Yeah, of course.
Oh mate, what a player! What an absolute fan. I love them kind of players like him. There's no pace to just make it look easy. Players.
Yeah.
In a mould like they play the game simple. Wim, Zidane, Kenny Dalglish, like even Terry Shedden, Eric Cantona, players like that. They made the game look so easy. You know what I mean? And him playing from midfield, fantastic player. And it proved it. I mean, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to.
Yeah.
And left that club, but he stayed. And
again, you're right. Similar.
You know, Man City put in a big for him. I think I was going to pay about $400,000 for him when we went down in '78. But they went, no, I'm staying here. So what more? A fantastic player and a gentleman.
And you're right. I mean, the same thing about Phil Parks. Being in essence the Championship and paying a record fee, being in the Championship and being an England international, that never happens as well. You know, going down and staying in a team for a couple of seasons in the Championship, and mental.
A different time, and I think a lot of the makeup of the people was different then. You know, I mean, they stayed at a place. You know, and I know I'm not having a pop much at the footballers now, mate. Look, there's a load of money on offer.
It's different. It's different.
You know, I mean, if someone comes along and says, "I'm going to give you $350,000 a week," it's the business. The player ain't going to turn around and go, "Well, actually, no, you're paying me too much." It's the way the business has gone. I think
of course.
Sky for me has a lot to do with it, but that's another thing. But anyway, Brooklyn's definitely centre midfield. And
you're right. The game's changed now. You know, when I interviewed someone like Tony Gale, every year Tony Gale was there was a testimonial year. And you don't get that anymore. Like Mark Noble is the last of a dying breed. I'd love it to be Declan Rice. I'd love Declan Rice to be the last of a dying breed. You know, and pay us. But who knows? Who knows?
Say, Tony Gale should have been a stand-up comic, mate. I've been to many.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's so funny.
He's absolutely brilliant, mate. Absolutely fantastic. He had another career in the way. He's probably a better comedian than centre half. Pretty good.
He's so chill. I love it. Yeah, lovely guy, Reg. Okay, right, let's go up front. Who are we going to have up front then, Jeff?
I'd have to go with Paolo. I know people say that he choked away games, but he was box office 20. Let's face it. I mean, he could do things that other people couldn't. Paolo for me, he's mate. Just he loves the club. he was mad as a marcher, eccentric, but so skillful. He's box off. You want to play and you want to see someone who could do nothing all day.
Totally.
Turn it like that. Temperamental, like a crazy Italian, but we loved him. And for me, that was out of all day long.
Yeah, we loved him. He loved us, and he still does. And it's And again, another adopted Cockney, an even more random one because Italians but he just got us right. Okay, and who's going to be the last piece of this Turner puzzle?
Right. I mean, obviously, the same applies. We go back to Bobby Moore as Jeff Hurst.
Of course.
73, he'd gone to Stoke, but
there's
no doubt about it. I've seen play a few times for West Ham quite a lot, but when I was a kid, 7 to 9 years old, what he'd be worth now, I don't know. He's absolutely West Ham's best ever. He could have played in any era, but obviously I've got to exclude him from this because it wouldn't be fair, like Bobby Moore. So I'm going to have to plump to Tony Cotty.
Oh, we're going to have to put Tony Cotty instead. What,
I'm going to have to. Local lad, it meant everything to him. I'll tell you what a poacher. Fantastic, brilliant. And yet again, with West Ham, in 1986, after we had that great season, although there was no European football, we could have bought anyone to that club at that time in the 80s and built on that team and made it better. What did we do? It just went a pop, like it always did. And in the end, he had no option. He was just playing up front on his own. McAvenny had gone. Everton come in with a bit of money. And what did you do? There was no ambition at West Ham. No. Yet again, and they kept the nucleus of that team. And for me, early 80s, mate, into the mid-80s, like when he came in 1983, I think it was, non-stop like goal scoring machine. And he did well even when he come back. You know what I mean?
He did.
Stand through and through. That'd be Tony Cotty for me.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you're so right. And he just brought so much, and he's still like obviously a massive West Ham fan. And it's always nice when a West Ham. It's always nice when a fan plays for the club. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Fantastic. I know with Mark knowing him, it really, really means everything to him. You know what I mean? And if they get beat. Like, he really takes it bad. I said, you must be depressed. I said, you know what I mean, for 8 months of the year. I said, it must be really bad on you because we're getting beat all the time. But it's like, it really means a lot to him. Like, he absolutely loves it. And you would do. I remember Alan Dickens was a mate of mine. He went to the same school. Alan was a good player at West Ham.
Yeah.
And I said, what's it like when you run out there? Because it was all their dream at school. He said, I still have to pinch myself. He said, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? He said, it's fantastic. I said, do you ever keep your eye? I said, on all the ad going on in the ground. He said, you can't escape it. That was the old culture at West Ham, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said, every time he ran out on that pitch, he was like he was living the dream, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And so that's what it means to a local boy. And you see, Marty's done 500 games for him. So I don't think that'll happen at many clubs again now across the globe, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, so it's local boys and Tony Cotty would have to be in there. That's 100%.
Yeah. Well, and that completes it. Jeff, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Been really nice. We've done it twice, but we don't have to do it again. So but it's felt like fresh. It's felt fresh. We'll do it again. Fucking I'll delete this one. We'll do it again in 3 months' time. No, I'm joking.
Christmas time and we'll see where we are.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, mate.
All the best. Take care, everyone. We'll see.
I hope next season's a better season for us.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And until next time, for me and Jeff, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye. See you later, bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.